Audiences only, so your mom is definitely invited. Sometimes controversial, always engaging. It's the podcast that lets your voice be heard. It's the podcast that shouts you out. It's time to holler. Can you dig it?
I could eat a unicorn one day through a Pop-Tart.
I like toaster strudels.
You like the jizzy part?
Yeah, I like the way it explodes
You
in
like
my
it?
mouth. And to swallow it down, oh my God.
Your tweets, snaps, Facebook comments, and even phone calls. Holler any way you want.
They used to give kids opiates to keep them quiet.
This is much less offensive than that.
JD, Brian, and Gracie. Holler at your boys and a girl.
Well, I don't know if you heard any of that, but like right on cue, we were talking about our animals being near us, and boom, there was little Serge Tankian, my dog, barking right away. I thought I had him down for a nap. Nope, he decides right now is the only time that he's barked all day long. He really doesn't bark, but when we go live on the podcast, game on. Holler Nation, it's been a minute. We're so excited to be here. We're happy to be back. If you notice, I'm going all natural this evening. No makeup, no Viking horns, no sunglasses. Because I just woke up from a power nap and I'm feeling good right now. So why even go there? There's really no huge explanation. Gracie, how are you feeling this evening? You're the pregnant one. We should ask you first.
Sweaty.
Okay, check.
Sweaty. I'm really sweaty. I also took a power nap this evening, so I'm a little bit more rested than usual.
What?
But,
What?
Amazing.
Power
Very
naps to
pregnant.
go around.
Sweaty and pregnant is what I'm feeling right now.
We should note that we are missing one sidekick, but I guess technically Gracie's like making up for it because technically like you're like two people over there and one is a guy. And we're
I'm
missing
like
the guy.
1.75 of a
One,
person.
yeah. Do you have one of those apps? It's like your baby's the size of like two pool balls, like an 8-ball and a cue ball.
A pineapple.
You're
This is
my-
See, there went the cat.
Allegedly. But
There's the-
really, he's bigger than a pineapple, I'm sure of it.
really that just seems so big to me, Gracie. That's got to be uncomfortable.
It is. It's very uncomfortable. Talk to my bladder. I might have to go pee in a minute. You never
Like a
know.
pineapple. Our friend Adam Hall, A Hall Music. He's having a baby. If you didn't know. And
What?
yeah, and he's got the app on his phone, and he like snapped me, and he was like, "The app tells me my baby is as big as a southern a southern pecan, something like that." And I was like, "What's
It's brand new.
Yeah.
So it's an Appalachian app? An Appalachian pregnancy app?
You're right. There should be a market for that, right?
Yeah. Big as a Buckeye?
Listen, let's use this time to intro our guests this evening. We've got Buffy 6 in the house, a local creative that as you can see from the background here. This is your own art behind you, obviously, right?
Yes, this is my sexy beasts, my sexy cryptids, as they're so lovingly called.
Sexy cryptids. I mean, how many guests are we going to have with a sexy cryptid background? You're the only one. That's it. Just one.
If anybody else comes behind me, y'all better call me and let me know.
Right? Buffy did say before, she said in the pregame, really quick, I made her hit go on the podcast really fast because I didn't want to learn all these things in the pregame, but she did say, there's a chance the cat could just take this background down because she's got a cat on her end. I've got a dog on my end. We'll see how it goes.
Animals galore.
Buffy, where are you podcasting from this evening?
I am in my house, which also the section of the house I'm in is kind of the back corner of my living room, which is kind of also my studio space. So
Right.
I'm kind of in the spot where I also make and create all of the things I have. So it's kind of the centralized location for all of the things that happen in my life. So
I got you.
kind of felt like the best spot to do it in.
Yeah, no doubt. Because the vibes are good already is one good point. Are you podcasting from Huntington? Are you in West Virginia? Where are you at?
Yep, I am in Huntington, West Virginia. I will say I'm not a native of Huntington, West Virginia. I'm originally from Flatwoods, West Virginia. So you'll also see Braxy is tattooed on my arm for that reason. But I moved here to Huntington when I became a student at Marshall back in 2016, and I'm one of those ones I've never left.
Yeah.
And I don't really think I will leave. I
Sweet.
have found my place in Huntington. 100%.
Well, welcome. I mean, this is where I'm from, born and raised. Now, Gracie's from like right over the bridge, born and raised. But like, no, we're all local. Now, listen, we've got people that tune into the show from all over. Like, we've got one that she might pop on. Her name's Mel. She usually listens from Alaska. We got. So I need you to explain, walk us through this tattoo on your arm and who this is for the people that have never heard it.
Yes. So the Flatwoods Monster, Braxy, she is also referred to. I do have one of my stickers here of her as well. So it's one of these really fun stories, and it also kind of relates to how I got started in what I do. So back on September 12th, 1952, let me take you down memory lane real quick. There was, I got all the facts.
Good. This is what we're here for.
The big ball of light, a big meteor that came flying through Flatwoods, West Virginia, and it crashed into a family farm nearby. And there was this group of boys that were playing football in an open field. They see this ball of light come crashing through, and they take off running. You know, they're like, what in the world was that? Is anybody hurt? That type of thing. And along the way, two boys, Eddie and Freddie, brothers, they grabbed their mom, Kathleen, and they all went up on the hill, and that is where they see this big 10-foot, 12-foot tall being. It was described as having a red spade-shaped head, this green, almost metallic dress, contraption sort of thing. Of course, you know, the putrid smell of sulfur, and they all just took off running away from it. And the next day there was like, you know, the markings in the grass, and it was obvious that something had came through and crashed there, but everything was gone. So it kind of became the story of the Flatwoods Monster. And the really cool part of that is Kathleen, Eddie, and Freddie, the mom and the two boys, are actually my family. So they are cousins to my family.
Wait a second. Are you serious?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Hold on. I did not expect to drop these kind of facts right out of the gate. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. You've got me hooked. This is like a child's nighttime story. I'm like, what next? What happens next? This is great. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, so they are family. So Kathleen was first cousins with my great grandmother. I think whenever you get into it, she's like my fourth cousin once removed or something crazy like that. So, but yeah, so it's all part of my family history. The other really cool part is the football field where the boys were playing is where my elementary school now sits. My family cemetery is literally just down off the hill and kind of around the bend from where the monster was seen. So everything to do with the Flatwoods Monster is pretty much my own personal and my own family history as well. So I'm very tied to it. I'm a little protective over her as well. And that's where all of my art started, was with the Flatwoods Monster.
Okay, so for those that don't know, spell Braxy officially for them.
Braxxie.
Oh, the two X's is important. Here you go.
The 2X is important, 100%. I will say it's taken me a little while to warm up to Braxy. And the reason being is that for me growing up, it was always the Flatwoods Monster. People would talk about the Green Monster or the Braxton Monster. That's wrong. No, it is the Flatwoods Monster. Braxy started happening probably like 5-10ish years ago, somewhere around there. And when I first started hearing it, I was like, oh, come on, it's the Flatwoods Monster. Like, get it right. But I will admit, there went something crashing in my house.
It didn't sound great, Buffy. Buffy, it didn't sound great.
Monster.
Guys,
Making a good performance. Oh my gosh.
Come on.
Cue the listen, it's fine. We'll just power through. It's
I
fine.
knew something was going to happen. It never fails.
Everybody in podcasting also has animals. We get it, okay? We get it.
Hey, Willow, come on now. Anyway, so yeah, but as I've kind of talked about Braxy more and heard it more, I've warmed up to it a little bit more, and it is a little easier to say than the Flatwoods Monster. It's a little bit more of an affectionate kind of pet name.
It makes her sexier. She looks pretty sexy behind you already, so it's like that helps. It's much cooler to call her Braxy. Like, what's up, Braxy? How you doing, girl? Rather than, hey, what's up, Flatwoods Monster? Get on over here.
Right. In terms of the lore and really talking about the history, definitely Flatwoods Monster. But I think in terms, especially of what I do, Braxy is pretty fitting for her. But yeah, it literally all started with me being obsessed with tattoos. I love the pinup style. And I said to my mom back in COVID times, literally while being COVID trapped in the house, I was like, wouldn't it be so funny if there was like a pinup of the Flatwoods Monster? And
Yes.
my mom, being my mom, was like, really, Buff? Really? And I sat down that night and I drew her in this little sketchbook. And it took about 2 years before she really officially happened. And that's only now been a year. I've really only been doing this and producing art to then be purchased by other human beings for only about a year now. So it's really crazy to think of how quickly all of this has started to happen. And especially for you guys to be like, do you want to be on our podcast? And I'm like,
Yeah.
am I ready for this? Like, oh my
Yes,
God.
you are. The answer is
Yes,
yes.
you are.
Allow us to lead the way. But yeah, that's so cool. Your idea was spot on. And as a matter of fact, like, I don't know, maybe I should dive into more of your creative stuff, which I have something to say about that too. I have so many questions for you, so many things to say. But before I say anything else, we need to shout out our sponsor real quick. So give me 1 second to say we are proudly powered by Camo Energy. These little shots right here, Buffy, by the way, are local. This is a local company that has since went global. They are in various countries. They're in various states. They're all over the place. What's cool about these, they don't have sugar. So it's no carbs, no sugar, 250 milligrams of caffeine. This is my favorite flavor right here. This one, the dragon fruit.
Nice.
But they've also got some really fun. They've got rocket pop. It's like the bomb pop flavor. They've got blood orange. They've got a little bit of everything. They've got berry blast. There's a lemon frost flavor, and they're coming out with something very interesting. We're going to have them as our next guests. As a matter of fact, we try to get Camo on once a quarter, and usually they hit us with some really cool behind-the-scenes info. They're really great people. So not only are they local, they're fun, they're great, their product is awesome. I literally drink one every single day. That's my form of caffeine, and it's actually kind of replaced the whole drinking a whole can of like Monster and things like that, which was something I was notorious for. And I'm not against that idea, but like once you get used to the energy shot, it's just this big, you know, and that's what's in my stomach. It's hard for me to even drink a whole can of energy drink anymore. So I really like the little shots. Speaking of, and you don't have to be biased right here, are you a caffeine person? What's your form of caffeine? Are you a coffee drinker?
You guys are gonna think I'm insane. So I pretty much do not partake in caffeine. The closest to my caffeine intake is like one of those fruit refreshers from like Dunkin' or Starbucks or something. I'm pretty much out here raw dogging.
Man, you're raw dogging life. I don't know how you do it.
Life.
It's because she's in her 20s still. Maybe we should talk to you again when you hit a little bit later. We'll see.
I think it's undiagnosed.
On one sweet tea a day.
Hyperactivity. Why add caffeine to it? Because you can ask my mother. I don't need caffeine. Like that would be a dangerous.
I got you. Well, you know, and I'm not trying. I'm not trying
like
to get
if
you
you
like
to drink a cup of coffee or a Camo energy drink, the world would literally slow down. For
right.
you.
Yeah.
You
I'll be
will
the
see
Flash.
sounds.
Just moving through time and space.
Could you imagine her just knocking down one whole Camo energy shot? Because these things are packed with caffeine. There's certainly more caffeine than a 5-hour energy. They're actually more caffeine than a Monster energy in a little shot form. It doesn't make you tingly or anything weird like that because Camo really takes care of the ingredients that go in it. And that's one cool thing about it. They don't taste like that chemical taste the way 5-hour does. Not that you know what these things mean because you don't drink caffeine, but just mark my words.
Let me tell you.
If you did,
There was one time
in
in my life that I took a caffeine pill, and I highly underestimated the milligrams of caffeine.
Probably, yeah.
And I remember just sweating profusely and just like literally like shaking.
Yeah.
And I had to call my mother, and I was like, should I go to the hospital? Like, am I gonna die right now? And she's like,
Okay.
drink water, just calm down.
I kind of want to run with this for a second. What things, and you can just be honest with us. We're not trying to get you in trouble here.
I'm gonna be an outlaw.
Be an outlaw right now. What things do you put in your body? Like, what happens if we feed you a beer or an alcohol? What happens if you eat an edible, or do none of these things happen? You know.
It's funny that you say that because I also don't drink alcohol.
I figured.
Yep. It's something that, like, obviously I was in college, and definitely I was even in a sorority at one point. So
wow, how did that go? We don't have to go down that.
Wasn't for me, but hey, at least
Scratch that question.
You can
so
say you tried.
yep. So yeah, I don't know. There's like a weird element to where I almost feel like my body is always so like tuned up and always at 100 that anytime I even have like tried different things, it's like, yeah, sure, like this is fun and everything for about 20 minutes. And then I'm like, I need a break. I'm overstimulated. Like we gotta chill back a little bit. So when I say that I'm like raw dog in life, I'm raw dog in life. Like
That's cool.
I'm yeah,
Your
it would
body
be really
probably-
interested to see, to like just sit me down and just like try a bunch of different things and see what happens, like a little science experiment.
Yeah, whatever you've got going on in the bloodstream, your body like hyper runs it through. Like it's very obvious that it just like it's like full steam ahead. Here we go. It's like an injection. You know, you're like all you have to do is drink. It's crazy. Hey, Miranda out there in Holler Nation, we got her comment on the screen. She says the first time I had a camo shot, I broke out in hives because I'm not used to that much caffeine. And you know what? I was with her when that happened. I was like, you are turning red.
You gotta sip it.
Everyone out there in Holler Nation, you can say hi to us, by the way. We'll throw your comment up on the screen, and we want to play a fun game of Family Feud with you sooner than later. So the more people we have out there, the better for that. You know, my personal story that's like, it's similar but opposite of you, Buffy. It's like, and this is scientifically proven, by the way, because I have one of those little breathalyzer things that like measures like the alcohol. And so me and my friends, we will sit around and have a few drinks and we'll all pass it around. And I'm telling you, you can watch people tick up. And I just remain the same. It's like whatever you dump into my body, whether it's caffeine, alcohol, anything, you need to double the dosage for me because just nothing happens. It's just like, so I don't know what my body's doing compared. I've got the opposite of whatever you have going on, but I also am kind of like hyperactive too, and I talk 1,000,000 miles an hour, kind of like you. So I don't know if you would like explode too much of that in one spot.
I cannot imagine you two in one space together. I would probably throw myself off of a cliff.
Emily Morgan says, "Buffy,
That's
I love you."
wife.
There's your wifey right there. There you go.
My wifey right here. Oh my god. Yay.
Does she have any sexy cryptid tattoos?
She does not. She's got to get some. So Emily is my work wife. So we just got to know each other literally not even a year ago. She started in the same office that I work in now, and we literally hit it off so quickly. It was insane how quickly we were just like, okay, well, we're best friends now. And she's been work wife ever since. So we
got more love out here, and this time it's coming from Shalem. Shalem says, Buffy, I love you times 2. Look at this. Getting all the love. Shalem, we love you also, by the way.
That's the man right there. I put on my Shalem hat, one of my Shalem hats for tonight. I wanted to rep him, and he's been fantastic and so supportive. So
I will tell you, since we were on the subject of naps earlier, one of my favorite Shalem stories that people don't know, it's a behind-the-scenes Shalem. When we had him on Holler Live, he showed up super early because he's a pro like that. And I was like, hey, man, we probably got like an hour before people even get here. And he was like, you mind if I just nap right here? And he just napped right in my floor in the front room. And my dog came in and lay beside him. So, you know, him and Little Search Tanky, and they're big fans of each other. So we do appreciate some Shalem in this household.
That's amazing.
We're just going to keep the love coming through. This is the whole show is just going to be Buffy love. We got Jonathan Nance out there. We've got Brennan out there. we've got Nicholas out there. My goodness. Shalem says, I'd be sleepy. I'd be sleepy. That's why I nap. I feel you. You know what?
No, Shalem is the reason. Shalem is the reason, sort of, that Buffy is on the show, because I was like,
yep,
I just need to introduce myself right now because I see you all the time, and
I'm literally stuffing a hot dog in my mouth.
Dude,
and
listen.
Gracie's like, hey, wait a second.
I'm by the way, shout out to Brandy. Brandy also says Buffy is the best. Brandy Groves, what's up? Thanks for listening.
Brandy is the best.
You guys, I'm going to give you 2 ways to win camo energy right now. The first way is to go follow our YouTube. Give us a subscription on YouTube, smash that subscribe. Gracie's going to put the link in the comments right now. If you show us that you follow us on YouTube, that you're subscribed to us, send us a DM with a screenshot. Also, send us your mailing address. We will mail you a couple little camo energy shots for free 99. You don't have to pay shipping. Just subscribe to us. That's it. So she's got the link right there. I'll throw it up on the screen for you to see. So blah, blah, blah. Click that, subscribe, show us, and make sure you give us your mailing address. We'll send you that for free. But the next way to win is the most fun, and it's Family Feud. And since we have enough people in here, we may as well pause the sexy cryptids because I still want to run through. I want to run through each one behind you, but we need to pause right now, and we need to play Family Feud as a family together. It's fun. But first, we have more Buffy love.
This is all my work family. These are all my work people that are coming to support.
Yeah, dude, they're coming in. They're coming in hot. All right, guys, let me get the stuff ready here for Family Feud, and it goes like this. It's go time. So, if you've never listened to the show before, we've got quite a few eyes on it tonight. If you've never been a part of this, the way this is going to work, it's Family Feud. We're looking for the number one answer. The first person to type it in the chat gets the point. I will warn you, your screen is always going to look different from our screen because your internet is faster on your end. It's going to always show your answer first. We're going to let Gracie be the judge of that. That way she's the bad person. If you lose, you blame her, not me. I'm just the host guy. Brennan says, I'm literally giddy watching Buffy on this. Well, listen, Brennan, it's only going to get better. We've got more sexy cryptids. We've got more art. We've got more West Virginia stuff to talk about. We got more people rolling in by the second. Why not?
Mom is in the chat.
Mom is, in fact, in the chat.
Mom's in the chat. Oh, yeah, we got Janet out there. Janet.
That's my mama.
So, for those that don't know, your last name is actually Six?
Yep. Surprise.
So cool.
That's my real legal last name.
Why did you get the coolest last name ever? That would be such a cool sports jersey. Six everything.
Yeah. Whenever I played sports growing up, my number was always 6, but
oh my God, that's amazing.
Kind of go back to sleep.
6 with the Shalim's trying to go back to sleep.
Send him some camo anyway.
All right, guys, let's get this party started. Be ready to type. We're looking for the number one answer. You can guess as many times as you want, so keep the guesses coming. All right, here we go. Here's kind of a lame, weird first question, but I'm just reading from the cards. I'm not going to be picky about it. It's whatever Family Feud gives us. Here we go. Name a famous woman men fantasize about. Name a famous woman that men fantasize about. And remember, this is Family Feud. They've surveyed the nation as their audience, whatever audience. Pretend I'm Steve Harvey with the mustache.
I'm going to have to take the hat off, get a little bald cap on there.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just not going to go there. By the way, number one answer is already in the chat. That was a fast one. I'm glad to see that. Good choices nonetheless. But the number one answer, according to Family Feud, is Marilyn Monroe.
Miranda.
So we've got Miranda on the board. By the way, first 1 to 3 is who's going to take home the Camo Energy Prize. And you know what? If this many stick around, we'll play this again at the halfway point of the show as well. We'll just keep going here. I'm laughing at some of the answers. Okay, next question. Here we go, guys. Name a way you know a date has gone well. Name a way you know a date has gone well. What do you think, Gracie? When's the last time you went on a date?
I don't know. I have a 7-year-old.
How many months pregnant are you?
So, huh?
Yeah, at least 8 months ago, right?
Yes, at least 8 months ago. Thank you for that. There's something squeaky happening in my house, and I'm not really sure.
Okay, we've got the number one answer. We've got the number one answer in the house, and it is a second date.
And that's Mel.
And it's Mel.
Wait, let me double check.
It's Mel on my end as well.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah. Mel, welcome to the chat. Mel is our West Coast friend, by the way. So, Mel, you have to tell us where you're at. It's either Oregon or it's Alaska. So let us know where you're at. Rachel in Nashville says,
you always come in at a weird time.
Says, I came in at a weird time. No, not at all.
You always do.
By the way, the answer was a second date, not to be confused not to be confused with what everyone else was saying, which is sex ?
But it's a question. It's a question. Like,
You go home with them. Hey, by the way, Mel is working in Alaska, so see how cool this is, Buffy? Like,
That's
little did you know,
amazing.
your sexy cryptids right now are being displayed in Alaska. Look at that shit. Mel,
Oh my gosh.
we want to tell you all about West Virginia cryptids after this. But by the way, Shalim's got to get back to sleep. We got to get this party rolling. Here we go, guys. Name the movie that best reflects your worst date ever. Name the movie that best reflects your worst date ever. Interesting. Questions are
good dates to bad dates.
Buffy, what did you have for breakfast this evening?
Oh.
Or this morning, I should say. Sorry.
Oh, I did have I had Dunkin' today. I had several donuts from Dunkin'.
Okay, fair enough. The breakfast of champions.
You know,
Buffy, I think we might work close to each other if you go to Dunkin' a lot.
I was going through a Starbucks phase, and now I'm going through a Dunkin' phase. I kind of go back and forth between the two. So basically, this week's been a Dunkin' week. So a lot of donuts.
These answers are hilarious, and the number one answer is in the chat, so you guys can cut the comments at this point. But what I was thinking when you said several donuts for breakfast, I'm thinking, okay, well, the girl, she will not put alcohol, caffeine, but she will put sugar in her body. She's not afraid of the sugar. Run on.
I mean, you know, as an American, how do you stay away from sugar?
Yeah, very West Virginian of you to donuts for breakfast.
Ryan, what's the damn answer?
The number one answer, Titanic. Sorry, guys. Gracie is pregnant, so she's a little bit on edge. So she's going to say things like that, and that's fine.
Emily? I'm pretty sure it was Emily. Wait, here's the scroll bar. I couldn't find it. Yeah, Emily. Good job, Emily.
Actually,
you got the point.
Actually, I'm okay. I see it. Emily's on the board. We had some hilarious answers. The worst date ever.
Remember, I'm
the whole, or Jeepers Creepers, or failure to launch. We've got some really good ones here.
Taken.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, that is not good. That is not good.
All right. That one goes aside. Here we go. Next question. Name something you like supersized. This is kind of a lame question. Name something that you would like supersized.
My brain has been in the gutter for this whole game.
That's usually what Holler Nation does, so you're in the right spot.
You're beautiful.
Your Family Feud Holler edition.
Here's a fun fact about your name, since we were just talking about it. If you go to search your name on any type of like social media, if you're trying to find out about Buffy 6, here's the first things that pop up. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, episode 6.
Yep. Yep.
By the way, the number one answer is in the chat. You guys can cut the comments. Number one answer is fries.
Miranda, who was very specific about it.
Well, she's right. She actually went with the brand that coined the word supersize. We should be specific. Miranda also said, supersize a dick. And someone else said, supersize a dick again. All right.
That one says maybe she meant hot dog.
It's Holler Nation, y'all.
Well, way down yonder on the Chattahoochee, it gets hotter than a hoochie coochie.
Okay, here we go. Next question. Name something you might find in a woman's she shed. Name something you might find in a woman's she shed.
My she shed.
Your she shed. A poster of sexy cryptids.
That's what should be in every single she shed, he said, they shed.
Holler Nation, stop typing the word dick. We've seen it enough. They're still going. Rachel.
We need to talk about sexy Mothman. Because if you make Mothman, let me just have to peek at it. Because if he's too sexy, he can't be in my child's room. But if he's just a little sexy, we'll hang up Mothman in my daughter's room.
Just a little booty action, you know? Just a little.
Oh, well.
Cheeked up Mothman.
My daughter is obsessed with Mothman, so can
Give her a
we get
few years,
little-
and then she'll be
little-
good to go.
a little less sexy Mothman.
There's
Give
there's
just
no
a
nudity.
Yeah, that's a good way to sell it. I agree with that.
She would be like, "Oh,
I'm
geez, what's the answer?"
The answer is not in here yet that I'm seeing. We've got some really great choices.
Some weird ones.
Actually, you know what?
On.
You know what? I'm wrong. The number one answer, I'm going to go ahead and say it's in there because it's close enough. The number one answer is books. Books is the number one thing in a she shed. If you're Rachel, the number one thing in your she shed is a hacksaw. That's terrifying. That's a bad first date.
Shillam does not know what a she shed is, so
Shalyn
sorry
says,
about it, Randy.
first question, what's a she shed? And Emily says, that's what she shed.
So are we of scrapbooks?
Yes, yeah, we're gonna count scrapbooks because it's books, and that's what
Well,
she
you got
shed.
the point. Emily, you need one more point to win.
And I think Miranda has a couple as well, right? Let's do the leaderboard here.
She has. Oh yeah, Miranda has 2, and Mel has 1.
So there's your leaderboard right there. You guys got to stop them. Somebody's got to stop them. They might win right here.
Brian is the worst person to ever go on a date with.
Is this a
Like,
fact?
literally.
Is this a fact?
Has this been surveyed by 100 people?
Yeah.
Right? I don't.
I had to ask Brian on our first date.
Okay,
We went to
listen,
Sheets.
we're gonna pause right here. By the way, Buffy, I hope that you come back to life. Your screen has frozen. We can still hear you, and usually it'll snap back out of it. If it doesn't, you'll just refresh your browser. Oh, no, you're back. Never mind. I will say no more.
Surprise!
But
I'm back.
if we do
I'm
lose you,
back
just
with
pop
it.
back in. She's
I'm
back.
back with it.
Buffy's back for episode 6. Okay, here we go. Next question. Name something that goes down more as you grow up. Name something that goes down more as you grow up. Holler Nation, do your thing.
You're beautiful.
So, Buffy, how many tattoos do you have?
Ooh, I'm around 20, I think, at this point. Yeah, I've got both of my ears done, front and like behind the ears. Got down my spine, on my sternum. I've got several sprinkled around my arm. Got a big one on my side. So,
Well, which
yeah.
one hurt the most? Let's hear it. Which spot?
Ooh, to this day, I would say still my most painful one was the one on my side. So it's basically from like almost my armpit down to my hip. And that was also my very first tattoo at 18. And I've had my sternum done, and I say that it wasn't as bad because it's not as big, so it didn't last as long, so
Right.
the pain didn't last as long. And I didn't cry. Now my side, I cried a lot during that one.
But then you kept going back for more, so it's all good.
Yeah, the day that I finished this, it was like 5 or 6 days after I finished that one that I went and did one else on my. I was just right back at it. So
Hell yeah. Miranda says that was her first tattoo as well down the side. By the way, number one answer is in the chat. You guys can cut the comments at this point. Buffy, I have spent, oh my God, I don't know how many hours in tattoo shops. I get all mine done in Florida, but I have an entire leg sleeve from the top of my ass to the top of my foot. It's 100% covered. I have no skin left on my leg over here.
I thought we decided it was just called a paint leg.
It's a pant leg. Yeah, I've got a pant leg. I have one jean, a single jean tattooed. What if it was jeans? What if I tattooed a pair of jeans on my legs? That's even better than skinny jeans. It's even better than jeggings.
Yeah.
It's the real deal.
Yep. There's weirder tattoos out there for sure.
Skeggings.
Yeah.
I hate myself for saying it. I really do. Bad. Really bad. Guys, we're going to just cut the
I'm just
combo
so
right
glad
here.
I'm
I was going to go
here.
somewhere, but whatever. The number one answer is boobs. And it was like the first thing typed. I'm pretty sure.
Emily, Rachel, just kidding.
Gracie is premature in giving you the victory. Emily, I'm so sorry. The number one.
So sorry. I pulled a
Hold on, let me
Steve
find. I gotta go way up. Yeah, here we go. It's Rachel with the titties. Rachel with the titties.
Because you said boobs and I read boobs first. Okay, sorry.
Rachel
Oops.
with the titties out in Holler Nation.
Rachel! 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 Rachel!
That is our
Well, and I was
Batman
wondering what
montage of Rachel.
Winergy was. So I'm glad you corrected yourself. It's like, what the hell is Winergy? But he really means energy, in case you guys didn't know.
All right, Shalem, this might be a question for you. What's your favorite thing to do on vacation? What's your favorite thing to do on vacation? That's the next question. First one to type, it's going to get it. Buffy, what I was going to say was I've spent so many hours in a tattoo shop, and I was once there when a young guy came in. He got lyrics tattooed down his side. They laid him across 2 chairs. They tattooed this guy, and this guy was sweating profusely during this. It's clearly painful, obviously, and they warned him about that. It was his first tattoo. When this guy left, there was a literal puddle of sweat so big they had to come out with a mop, and they had to mop it off the floor because that's how much this guy sweated. This guy needed to go drink some water after that tattoo.
Dang. Whenever I went in, the artist, like he told me, he was like, you know, you sure about this? And my mindset was, I'm going to go ahead and get the biggest, baddest tattoo I can to start me out, because if it ends up being so bad that it's my only one, then it's dope. But every tattoo from here on out is going to be a breeze. And I was so right. Every single tattoo ever since, I'm like, whatever.
That was a good strategy, and I agree with that strategy. By the way, we're going to go with exact wording on this one just because so many things are so similar. It was a good try, Shalem, with sleep. But the correct answer, technically by wording, is relax. So first one to type relax gets it.
Miranda.
And that's going to be your winner.
And that's going to be the winner.
Nice.
Miranda, DM us your mailing address. We will ship you some camo energy.
Brian will ship it to you.
I will ship it to you personally. Thank you so much for playing, everybody. You know what?
Uh-oh.
Guys, we can play again.
Hey,
Big Scott, we want to shout him out because he's part of the Shotgun Squad, which is somebody else we want to just take this time to shout out. It's one of our other sponsors of the show. You guys got to go check out shotgunsquad.com. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. They have tons of really, really fun merch. And speaking of beach, you could buy some really fun stuff to use on the beach, whether it's a flag or whether it's drinking gear or fanny packs or things to shotgun beers with. Buffy doesn't shotgun beers, but she would shotgun sugary drinks probably or something.
A Pepsi?
See,
shotgun a Pepsi.
Yeah, sure, why not? Buffy, when I'm afraid to ask you this because Mom's in the chat, but I'm going to ask you anyway. How old were you when you tried your first sip of alcohol ever?
Okay, so I actually think my mom does know this story, and if she doesn't, well, it's fine. I was 19 or 20 when I had my first sip. In my college dorm, a girl down the hall had made some sort of drink and was like, try this. And I was like, one drink is not going to hurt me. And I did. And I was like, that's gross. Why are you drinking that? But I officially waited to truly drink until I was 21. I've tried alcohol in many different settings, and every time I'm like, this is horrible. No, thank you.
I feel you. You know what? I think you're going to stay younger this way too, by the way, because, I drink casually, when the time comes, but I definitely can't drink all week long. And the people that do, man, it's like smoking cigarettes, guys. It's going to age you. Hey, I've got some really funny comments out here. This is hilarious. The first one I wanted to say is, Shalem is salty. He says this game is rigged. He says, I stayed up for this BS. That button's just for you, Shalem. Good night. You can go to bed now. But Big Scott with my favorite comment, Buffy the Pepsi Slayer.
Yup.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to leave that up there for a minute. Again, along with shotgunsquad.com, they've got their own really, really fun group on Facebook. That's how you can go meet guys like Big Scott. They all post videos, shotgunning various things. Could be a Red Bull, could be a beer, but they're also really fun and good people to talk to. So go check out shotgunsquad.com. Okay, back to sexy cryptids. Let's go down the line. We know about Braxy now, so let's go beside her. Let's keep going.
Yeah, so that is Sheep Squatch right beside Braxy. So Sheep Squatch is definitely on the lesser known realm of the sexy cryptids. The one important thing to point out is I do have 7 sexy cryptids. 6 of them are West Virginia specific, and then the 7th one is kind of a national one. He's at the end here, so I'll get to him in a minute. But these are West Virginia cryptids, so they're very close to home, and I tried to hit the ones pretty much all spread out throughout the state. And then next to him is Mothman, Mothwoman, Moth Them, a little gender bend on classic Mothman.
Okay, all right.
And then right beside her is Bigfoot. So that's the one that's kind of, it's national, it's international, honestly, at this point. So,
Right.
but those are the 4. And then I also have Bat Boy, I have Veggie Man, and I have the Grafton Monster as well. So that's my full Sexy Beast collection.
Sweet. And you know, everyone that's local is going to know about Mothman, but we've got Big Scott in here. I believe he's in Texas. Big Scott, correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me what state you're in. Texas, I think maybe. But we've got Alaska, Texas in the house. They have no fucking clue what we're talking about. Tell us about Mothman. Give us a short version.
Yeah, so Mothman, it's kind of funny because Mothman's probably the most popular cryptid out of West Virginia. But he happened in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. It's a couple hours from here in Huntington on up the river. And, Mothman is rumored to have been the reason of the Silver Bridge collapse, which was a very catastrophic event there in Point Pleasant. So Mothman is this big creature with wings and these bright red eyes, and he has a very famous statue in Point Pleasant,
And a movie as well, by the way.
Yes, yeah. And then his statue is the reason why I did Mothwoman from behind. If you've ever seen the Mothman statue, you know that thing is caked.
He's cheeked up.
But
It is
donk.
that thing is donk.
And he's got like a 14-pack, you know?
Yes, he's extremely ripped. The thigh muscles, if you stand and look at that statue for too long, you're going to get caught with
Big Scott. Big Scott, you're in Kentucky. Okay, you're closer than what I realized, and I knew that now that you say it. So, Big Scott, you tell me, being from Kentucky, had you heard about Mothman? I was actually on Buffy, you'll like this story. I was on a cruise. I'm floating out in the middle of the ocean in the Bahamas. A person sits down beside me, starts to get to know me at a bar, and the guy goes, where are you from? And I said, West Virginia. And the first thing he says is something like, is that near Richmond? And I'm like, oh, here we go with this, this whole thing. But anyway, I gave him a pass. We're floating out in the ocean. Who cares? All good vibes. And he says, are you near that place that has that guy called Mothman? And I'm like, actually, I'm very close to that. I would like to talk about that. So we talked about it over one alcohol on the cruise. Let's
one
see.
singular alcohol.
By the way, Nicholas says, Buffy, when are we going to get Sexy Squonk?
I'll tell you, for those of you that don't know what squonk is.
I don't know.
There ain't no way to make that thing sexy. I'm sorry. That is a gross, disgusting, it's kind of like a oversized naked mole rat that has like mucus all over it. That's not happening.
Is Squonk, what state is Squonk from? By the way, Big Scott says
Squonk is West Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are we pulling these from? Because I've never heard of Squonk.
Squonk's a weird thing. Now, if you guys have any knowledge of Liz with the Keep On Creepin' On, she has some squonk designs. She has a few designs of some other cryptids that I have admittedly tried to make sexy. And, there's a line at some point where there's not much help for some of them folks out there. They've been drinking the dew a little too long, and can't really come back from that.
Hey, the artist that you just mentioned, you could pass her our way in post game. We'll talk about that. That would be cool.
Absolutely.
Can we use this time to shout out your Instagram? Is that a good thing to shout out, by the way?
Yeah, please.
So it's at studio_6_creative, and 6 is spelled out, correct?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Studio-six-creative.
Check me on the bottom. We're going to run it across the bottom. We're going to scroll it. We'll scroll it the rest of the show. You can have it. That's yours.
Country roads.
Let's go. It's me,
Mario.
It just felt appropriate to hit those two buttons, give you some Mario Country Road, and then
Absolutely.
Oh, Shalim says shout out to Liz, by the way. I guess that's who we were just talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, Liz, we'll talk to you one day.
Liz is arguably the most popular cryptid artist in
Okay.
the state. Liz is who I strive to be like 100%. She is incredibly fantastic with everything she does.
So cool. I love that it's such a what a small little category right there, but such a fun one. Such a fun one
Yeah.
to me. I always love running into local artists at all of these local events. Did you check out Orbit's Record Store Day by chance in Barbersville? Did you go to that?
Yeah. I've actually stopped by there. I stopped by there whenever Book Tenders, the bookstore in there.
We're friends of the show, by the way.
Ashley was gracious enough to allow me to sell some of my stuff in her spot. So there was one time my mom came down to visit, and I said, okay, so what's in Barbersville? What should we check out? So we went over there to Orbit's, and it was really cool. It was packed that day that we were in there. So definitely was really cool to see that.
Nice. And I'm so glad that I met you now officially on my own podcast here, because I will say, Buffy, we are friends on social media. This is going to sound so lame. We're friends because we're both like local creatives in our own way. You know, I'm not as creative as you. I'm not as cool as you. Just a podcast my way. I strive to be as cool as you. One day when I grow up, I want to be as cool as Buffy Six, but I don't have a name like that. So how could I be? My last name is.
But you got Brian.
Yeah.
You got the alliteration.
My friends call me B-Ball, so there's that at least.
See?
I did always get that on the back of my
jersey. The self-deprecation, my guy. You're amazing. You're awesome.
But thank you so much. But no, we're friends on the socials, but I had never met you in person. So like, it's like, you know, I knew of you, but it's like I can't reach. I felt that I couldn't reach out to you because, you know, unfortunately, we've got so many creepers out there. It's like, she's gonna think that I'm a creeper just reaching out, when really the truth is I just love your art. That's what's
right. No, I will say I've had plenty of people reach out to me. For the most part, everyone has been like super cool and amazing, and I've been able to build these really cool relationships. Only one time has there been a true creeper, and I will tell you, I gave him the benefit of the doubt for the longest time. So you totally would have been okay. But we're friends now. So
we're friends, so it's all good. It's all
boom,
good.
Done.
By the way, Big Scott says following, so hell yeah. So everybody follow Buffy. There's her Instagram, and obviously, as you can see, not only is her art cool, but she's cool. So duh.
I try to be fun. I try to be one of those cool
people. You are
people.
fun. Speaking of fun, Rachel down there near Nashville, she does taxidermy. Okay, for real, she does taxidermy, and so but she's also super cool. She's super unique and super fun. And she says, one day I'm going to taxidermy and cryptid. This would be awesome. I feel like this would be amazing. Please do this.
There's definitely, surely there's somebody that's got enough of a Bigfoot to do that, right?
True. Rachel, if you do it good enough, you could just kind of make up your own cryptid, and the story could live on forever. Think about that. Like, put together like part of a coyote and part of something else. You've got the parts. Hey, a coyote. Speaking, I'd be worried about the coyotes if I were you. that's shout out Gus Chiggins, a little known Will Ferrell character. Somebody give me credit for Gus Chiggins out there in Holler Nation. Anyway, Buffy, I've got a Bigfoot story for you. You are too young, I think, to know this story, because this was probably, I feel like this was
Brian's an old man.
Yeah, I'm an old man. I feel like this was like, it's fine. I'm cool with that. I feel like this was 15 years ago. We could probably fact check this fast enough if Gracie did on her end. But CNN ran a story that these guys in Georgia, for real, found a Bigfoot, and they had it in a cooler. Now, I don't know how CNN...
Not the cooler.
CNN is such a big news source, especially at that time, 15, 16 years ago. I don't know how they believe this story, but I remember I was at work. I worked at a restaurant at the time, and I remember looking up, and CNN was scrolling it. Bigfoot found, and I'm like, well, hell, if it's CNN, this is real. They're like, these guys have it stuffed in a cooler in Georgia. That's it. That's the story. It turns out. Cooler. But like,
I would say 2008.
When it comes
to Georgians, say they have Bigfoot spotting.
I almost nailed the date, by the way. That's crazy.
That's fantastic. I think one of the coolest things I've ever heard about with Bigfoot. So I got a couple quick weird fun facts to tie into the Bigfoot conversation. One is at Marshall, as a student, I took a paranormal psychology class.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
We spent so much of the semester talking about Bigfoot and watching these Bigfoot videos. So there was like a lot more that I learned about Bigfoot in that class. The other really cool part in the Bigfoot tie-in also ties in my mother. So my mom helps out with the West Virginia Bigfoot Museum up in Sutton, West Virginia.
I can't believe this is a real thing. I'm amazed by this. Hell yeah.
Yep. So Bigfoot Museum is now a real thing. They've been going for a few years now. They have a big Bigfoot festival every year. Just a few weekends ago was this year's festival. Next year, they're expanding from 2 days to 3 days for the festival. They're moving locations to a bigger spot. We're a huge cryptid family. So my mom has connections to like Bigfoot hunters, and they have like castings of Bigfoot feet and all of these crazy, amazing, cool things. So if you're interested in anything Bigfoot, holla at Janet Six. She'll get you connected with Bigfoot directly.
And that sounds like somebody that will get you connected with Bigfoot is a person called Janet Six. You guys have cryptid in your blood, and I love this. Talk about things I never expected, because like I said, I'm just meeting you for the first time. Never expected you to be from a cryptid family. I just thought maybe you got like a cool little obsession with it, but it's deeper than that, man. It's in your blood. It's in the roots. We've got some fun stuff going on in the chat. So this all started with Rachel saying that she's going to taxidermy her own cryptid. Kayla Bell out there says, I got a coyote today that you can start with.
Nice.
And Rachel says, can you mail it? And Kayla says, I can try, but I'm not sure that's completely legal. Can you meet me halfway? Janet out there says, the West Virginia Bigfoot Museum would love to have it. And I think that she's talking about Rachel's cryptid that she is going to create, but I could be wrong. Are you talking about the Bigfoot that was in the false Bigfoot?
In the cooler?
I'm not sure.
Okie dokie.
But nonetheless, we have to shout out Holler Nation before we move on to anything else, because that's also the whole point of the show. We usually do a couple little fun polls for the show. Tonight we're missing JD, so we'll just go with my poll here.
Because my phone is on the floor, so
that's fine. We heard that happen. We heard that. Big Scott says if it fits, it ships. So ship the coyote. That's the rule here. My little fun poll for everyone this evening is: name the most famous dog of all time. I want to hear what Holler Nation has to say. Who's the most famous dog? There's so many to choose from. You know, think about it.
Wow, Shalem is still awake. I'm shocked on it.
Shout out Holler Nation, says Shalem. Shout out to Shalem still being awake. Shout out to JD. JD's slaving away at the bar. We miss you. Shalem says most famous dog is Snoopy. And that's, potentially the right answer. I don't even know that there is a right or wrong answer, but let's go. So here we go. Sophie, I'm going to read through these comments. This is on Facebook, by the way. If you guys don't follow both our accounts on Facebook, both Holler and Holler Live, you're going to get memes, and you're going to get a podcast, and you're going to get all things local. People like Buffy 6, we're always going to repost things that she posts, things like that. All the reasons to follow us. Okay, here we go. Sophie K says, baby dog in West Virginia, at least. The broader answer might be Lassie or Beethoven, depending on when you grew up. Susie says, Scoobert Cornelius Dew.
The whole name.
Stacy says, Old Yeller. Danny Earl, a.k.a. The Dew. Shout out to The Dew. He says, Dog the Bounty Hunter. I love that answer. That's a fantastic answer. Brittany Fury White says, Clifford, the big red motherfucker. Zach Smith says, Snoop Dogg, and he actually tagged Snoop Dogg in his answer. I'll go ahead and laugh at that. Snoop D-O-double-G. Foz Rotten says Snoop Dogg. Emily Pratt says The Beast from The Sandlot. That's another good answer. Really like that answer. Ryan Blatt says Cujo. That's a good answer. Sarah says Clifford, big red dog. Aaron says Scooby-Doo. Ryan Blatt says, I want to come back in and say Spud McKenzie is worth mentioning. Kirsten says Snoop, D-O-double-G. I think Snoop Dogg is leading the way so far. LaCanda says Beethoven. Perry gives us a list of his top 5 dogs. They're in this order. Perry Casto. Lassie, Spuds McKenzie. Benji, Airbud, Beethoven. JJ Waters says Sirius, the dog star, been around longer and seen by literally every sighted human ever. I don't know enough about that one. Mo says Balto. Balto is from
Balto.
Balto is from shit. What is Balto from?
Come on, Ryan. Come on,
that's
movie
like,
man.
I know.
It's a Disney movie. It's a movie about the sled dog who had to
It's
take
literally
the
called
medicine across Alaska.
Damn it.
To help the sick children.
Can't win them all, Buffy.
Come on, you
Gracie.
two.
Gracie gets really excited. If I
Whatever
ever
we
say
talk about
one
is
thing
Disney
wrong or I
cartoon
miss something, like if Gracie could shoot off fireworks, she'd shoot them off. She'd burn the house down. Like Brian said it wrong. Brian said it wrong. Fireworks.
I better calm down because my water could break. So.
Oh my gosh, I was waiting for this answer. This is also my answer. Little Serge Tankian, who is asleep right here. I would lift him up so you could see him. But Rachel, shout out to Rachel for saying that, by the way. Thank you, Rachel. I can't find your button on here. Sorry. No, you're up here. I got you.
Rachel!
Kayla Bell says, Gidget and the Taco Bell Chihuahua. It cannot be forgotten about. That's a great answer. Corey says, that one dog that skateboards. I think that's like a bulldog thing. Bulldog skateboard. Adam says, Scooby-Doo. We got another dog, the bounty hunter. Andrew Lockhart, Shotgun Squad, says Clifford the big red dog. We've got Cujo. Jesse Lawrence, another Shotgun Squad. Lee says Toto. Here, I got some Toto for you somewhere on here. Nope, can't find it. Oh, there it is. Wrong Toto. Josh Cumberland says Snoop. D-O-double-G. Hey, we got another Little Serge Tankian from Janelle out there. How about this one? No one said Goofy yet. There's so many famous dogs, you all. Holy crap. Lassie, Baby Dog, Scooby-Doo, Little Serge Tankian. Again, Rin Tin Tin, the Canine Cop. Forgot about that dog. Courage the Cowardly Dog, of course. Forgot about that dog, too.
Oh, I love Courage.
Yeah, see, those were lots of good answers. Buffy, did we say, were there any dogs that weren't mentioned? We just mentioned like 100 right there.
That was pretty much all of my top were like rattled off at the beginning. So I will say one dog, actually I can give you two dogs that weren't mentioned, and it's okay that they weren't mentioned. People are going to learn about them now. That would be my two dogs that are also hanging out with me here, who ironically started coming up and was trying to jump in my lap during that portion. And that is Willow and Apollo. So
Willow and Apollo, is that their name?
Apollo.
Apollo, yep. Gotcha. Willow and Apollo, super cool. Rashad out there has a good answer. No one mentioned this. Brian from Family Guy, duh.
DJ Illspin.
Kayla, I did say the Taco Bell Chihuahua. You just didn't hear it. That was a really good answer, and I gave you credit for that too, by the way. We have forgotten about one dog. I've even got a button for this dog.
Sucking on Chili Dog.
The Chili Dog, of course. Sucking on him. Gracie's face, she hates me. And so on the show goes. So on it goes.
Send your dick pics to Gracie at officialholler.com.
Send those dick pics to Gracie, officialholler.com. Gracie will be glad to post them. You know what? We've still got double-digit eyes on the show. We're going to play another round of Family Feud. We'll shorten it this time. First 1 to 2 answers is going to win it, and then we'll get out of here. It's more Family Feud time. Rashad also says cat dog. You know, right? How do we not think of this? Oh, also Janet says Pluto. Another great answer. There are so many famous dogs, you all.
As well there done. Should be.
Well done. Okay, here we go. It is okay. Rachel says, "Don't neglect Steven, the Chihuahua with the buck teeth. Steven, that dog, and Airbud, of course." Thank you for making me do that, Rachel. That's great. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Family Feud time. We're looking for the first one to get 2 answers right. Here we go. First question. Name the mainstream movie that most puts you in the mood. What a lame question. Name the mainstream movie that most puts you in the mood. I probably wouldn't have read that one if I would have read it first, but I'm reading whatever the card says. What Steve Harvey gives us, okay? Stephen Harvey.
Steven.
This guy right here. He's still.
Look at that guy.
We've got another deck.
West Virginia guy, too.
Another West Virginia guy. That's exactly right. Well done. It's almost football season. If you're local, you know. If you know, you know.
Ooh, this remix.
Okay. Sorry, Caleb Bell missed the question. What's the mainstream movie that most puts you in the mood? I think that we should just skip this question. It sucks. No one got it. Rachel has a great. Rashad had a good guess. Pretty Woman is a good guess. Rachel with another good guess. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. By the way, she's going to create her own cryptids, so this makes sense. Miranda had a good guess. 50 Shades. The answer, according to Family Feud, was The Notebook.
Lame.
Yeah. I've got a great button for this.
You make me come.
All right, so next question. Here we go.
Next question, please.
Next question. Here we go. Shout out to the West Virginia Bigfoot Museum, by the way. Shout out to that.
Absolutely.
Okay, next question here. That one's done. Okay, here we go. What's a popular phrase or saying with the word kiss? What's a popular phrase or saying with the word kiss?
I can tell you what my mama's answer gonna be.
Do it, Janet. Type it. Don't even think about it.
Arby's, we have the meats.
Okay, just like that. Number one answer's in the chat. Knew that would be a fast one. Number one answer is kiss my ass.
Mama, you were too slow on that one.
Rachel.
Get with the keyboard typing.
All right, that card's done. Okay, next question. Here we go. Nope. Those suck. On to the next card. Okay, here we go.
I need you to go through these cards before we start this part.
Nah, I like winging it. Okay, here we go.
Oh.
It gets better reactions from Gracie, which are always angry, by the way. Gracie's always angry at me on the show.
Sure. Name I'm just tired.
Name something you get better at the more you do it. Name something you get better at the more you do it. Playing the piano.
Do you know how to play the piano?
They say practice makes perfect, y'all.
Yes, and we're talking about piano still.
Hey, baby, I hear the blues are calling.
Number one answer is in the chat, just like that. Number one answer, sex. Duh.
Oh, Rashad.
Rashad on the board. And by the way, we're only going to two, so Rashad's one away. Rachel's one away.
And Rachel's one away. Everybody else is two away.
Okay, here we go. Next question. Name something you catch. Name something you catch. That's it.
There's a lot of things you can catch from the last answer.
You're right. With enough practice, catch them all.
Gotta catch them all.
Not good. That is unsafe. Those are gross.
I had a question for you, Buffy, but the number one answer already in the chat. You guys can cut the comments. Number one answer is ball.
Caleb Bell. Oh, shit. Just keep dropping stuff. Caleb Bell. So Rachel, Rashad, and Caleb Bell. All three have one. So come on, somebody. Can't make this the longest Family Feud game of our lives.
We've got
one a couple weeks ago.
We've got more napping to do. We've got dinner to eat. If you're me, I'm going to eat.
Literally.
Okay, here we go. See, why don't we get these good questions earlier? Here we go. Name something that often gets a hole. Name something that often gets a hole. Hey, Buffy, while I've got you here,
what's up?
Let's talk about sheep squatch. Give me the story behind this one, because I don't know it.
I will say sheep squatch is one of the ones that I'm not too detailed in his story. My understanding, he's down from around the sort of Greenbrier area, that part of the state, reported to be this big kind of sheepish sort of thing. The interesting thing that whenever I was doing my research on these cryptids that kept coming up with him is that he was reported to have this big, long, pink rat tail, which I do have included.
Oh my God.
So that always struck me as very odd with him. But yeah, just a big thing with like the ram head, super shaggy, kind of, grossish, I guess. But
What an episode for me not to wear the horns, by the way. This was the episode, and I just wanted to go all natural. Like, here we go. The number one answer is in the chat, by the way. Number one answer is socks.
Big Scott.
The show goes on. Big Scott with the number one answer.
Goes on.
Hey, Rachel, this is like, your creative juices should be flowing with your taxidermy here. When I saw that, like, big rat tail, can you move again, Buffy, and show us that? Look at that big tail. Look at that, Rachel. See, you could use a possum. You could use all these parts. A coyote head with a possum tail. Come on.
You now saying that makes me believe that maybe that's what this rat tail is like the possum tail.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Okay, here we go. Next question. Name a food you always have in the house. Name a food you always have in the house.
Hmm.
Buffy,
all of a sudden I've completely forgot about food.
Yeah, right. Buffy, you had me thinking about Mothman earlier, your version, because you said it could be Moth Woman, it could be Moth Them. I really like Moth Them, by the way. That's super cool. That's a good point. Just because we've always said Moth Man, it's a creature, it's a cryptid. It's not like it's, like it could be Moth anything that we want it to be, and I like it.
Yeah. If you look at my whole collection, they're very queer coded. That's a big part of my art and being a queer Appalachian artist and all of those things. So there's a couple of them that are a little gender bended. Veggie Man is the one in particular that carries extremely feminine energy. That the heels kind of
look at those heels.
So yeah, that was one of those things. I'm like, we don't know. We don't know what any of these creatures are packing underneath,
Exactly right. Number one answer is in the chat, by the way. Number one answer is bread.
And Rashad gets it.
Rashad takes it just like that.
Way to go, Illspin.
DJ Illspin in the chat.
You're supposed to put multiple answers.
Yeah. That's how it works. Illspin, I will bring your camo shots to kickball. How's that sound, man? We'll have a laugh over kickball.
I can't believe you're a kickball guy. You're gonna see one of the people I work with at kickball now too.
Oh yeah, who's the kickball person from your work?
So that is Allie. She did not join the live stream tonight. We'll talk about it on Monday. But her husband Ben plays on one of the teams, so she's been at kickball a lot. So
gotcha. Well, you know what? I've probably ran across them in my kickballing. Andrew Lockhart says, hi from San Antonio, squad in the house. Andrew, we shouted out the Shotgun Squad earlier. We're glad to have you guys here. I'm glad that you shouted out where you were from, too, because we were talking about all the different states. We got Texas in the house. Of course we got Texas in the house. Illspin, congrats again for winning. Guys, we've talked about everything from shipping dead coyotes to moth they to sheep squatch and all the other sexy cryptids with their 12 packs and their cake that they're packing. Buffy Six, you've been one hell of a guest. You did not disappoint. I was excited to meet you, and now I'm even more excited after meeting you. Can't wait to stay in touch and definitely share a lot of your stuff on Holler. Listen, you with your cryptid bloodline, you need to get us. You need to get us a cryptid person on this show. It doesn't have to be an artist; could be someone that like hunts them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got the contact for different Bigfoot hunters from all over the place. So I would definitely love to hook you guys up with somebody like that for sure.
Hell yeah.
I love you too, Rashad.
Ill's been showing you some love. This has been the most love any guest has ever received on an episode. We're going to give you that title.
I know, I'm feeling some type of way because usually it's my fan club that's in the chat, and now it's and I'm just like, I'm just kidding.
I've got some pretty good people in my corner. I won't lie. I've had some really, really good people throughout all of this. So I'm glad they all stayed up late and came and hang out with me.
Andrew says we need Danny Earl again. I could not agree more. Andrew, I will reach out to the personally, myself, we've got some upcoming slots. We will get the dude back on here. Mark my words. He better be ready. You all better be ready. Shotgun Squad better be ready. Rachel says, Buffy, I will hunt cryptids with you any day.
Yes, absolutely, Rachel. Me and you, we're getting together ASAP for sure.
Ilspin says your stickers are on his laptop still, which is cool because that's like free advertising. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I've got his stickers on my iPad, which is where I do all my art.
Oh my God, this is a great idea. We need a cryptid with a mullet. Why don't we have a cryptid with a mullet? Somebody better write this down.
Bigfoot could rock a mullet.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Bigfoot could rock a mullet.
Ooh, I like it. I think we're onto something here, Buffy. We might have been onto something. I'll tell you what, we got to remember to tag Big Scott. If we end up creating a Bigfoot with a mullet, we got to tag Big Scott. Ooh, here's a weird question for you, Buffy, right before we leave. Not to get too deep, because I bet you have a thought about this, but that kind of makes me think, like, what do you think about these AI programs that create art?
Yeah. Oh, man. I have thought a lot about it. In terms, I will say I use AI not for my art, but for my work. I've used AI a few times. I think it's cool. I think it's just really, really important for people to know that, artists are out here putting a lot of time and work into creating things. And as cool as AI is, you're not going to get that personal touch that you can get from people like us. So go crazy with the AI, have fun with it, but just don't forget about the rest of us, please.
Dude, what a great answer that was, by the way, because seriously, I give you a fair one for that. What a great answer that was. That I agree. Go crazy with it, have fun, and do weird stuff. But guess what? At the end of the day, at least as of right now, which is August 2023, the fingers are all messed up. They can't even make hands. Do you want art that makes the hands melt away, or do you want art that gives you a sheep squatch with the exact 12-pack that he is rocking? Come on.
Right. There's something really special about every line that goes into something like that,
100%.
like there's, and yeah, AI is cool, but like, people, like real people, we're cool too. So
right about that. Rachel says Bigfoot has a natural mullet. Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
Gracie, do you have anything else for Holler Nation or our guests before we get out of here this evening?
No, I'm good. Water's still intact. We're great.
Congratulations, you went the whole show without having to pee. And your baby is bigger than a pineapple.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
He's huge. Oh, also his head is measuring 2 weeks early. RIP my vagina. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Tough break. That is a tough break.
You've got mail.
Yes, Andrew. DM me your address and I'll make Brian mail you some.
Oh, 100%, Andrew. Yeah, DM us your address, and just because you've been around for so long and you're part of the squad, not only will I send you a handful of stickers, but I'll also send you some camo, bro. 100%.
What?
Holler Nation, thank you guys for sticking around. This has been a fun episode. I'm going to smash a bunch of buttons. Buffy 6, you know what? We'll talk to you again in a year. How's that sound? And we'll talk more.
Absolutely.
Maybe by then
y'all holler at me anytime.
We'll holler at you. Because that's what we do. All right, guys, we're out of here. We will see you next round. We're gonna have Camo Energy on here next round, so you guys stick around for that.
Oh, wow. Sega! Hot Pockets.
Wow! You make me come. You raise me up. Ba-ba-da-da.